Douglas was famous for a while after his worldwide exposure on television following his magic flying trousers saving the school. It was a few months later we find Douglas on the school playground. The children were so happy. It was summertime and they were all playing on the school field. As Douglas looked at the countryside, he heard some lorries in the distance. They were coming closer. And as they passed the school, Douglas noticed on the side of the lorries it read, "Tree felling." The lorries were headed to the local forest. That evening, when Douglas got home from school, he watched the news with his mum. Work is starting on the Great Forest this week. There are plans to build a huge shopping centre with coffee shops and cafes. Douglas looked at his mum and his mum looked back at him. They were both in shock. They can't cut down the forest, Mum. What about all the creatures that live there? Where will they go? Oh, I'm shocked, said Douglas's mum. We don't need another shopping centre. There is one just a few miles away that we can use. It certainly isn't worth destroying our beautiful forest. What can we do? Asked Douglas. Ring your granddad, said Mum. Douglas rang his granddad straight away and explained the shocking and upsetting news they had just heard. I'm coming over, said Grandad. Once he arrived, they went upstairs to the loft. I think it is time for one of my spells, Douglas, said Grandad. They searched through boxes filled with jars of incredible ingredients, together with all kinds of amazing spells and recipes. I need to fly again, Grandad, so that I can reach the tallest tree in the forest. That will get the attention of the town, said Douglas with great excitement. I'm afraid that won't be enough this time, said Grandad sadly. I read that this is a multi-million-pound project for the businessman, Mr. Benjamin Goodworth, and it will bring many jobs to the town, he continued. Douglas thought for a minute and pondered on the situation. What's this spell, Grandad? Asked Douglas. Yes, the talking spell, replied Grandad. This gives any animal the ability to talk. Wow, this is the best spell ever. All we have to do is go into the forest and find an animal that would like to help us. We can film them, how they are feeling on your mobile phone, Grandad, and then we can send it to the newsroom, said Douglas in a very excitable voice. My, Douglas, you are a very wise boy, said Grandad. The next morning was Saturday. Douglas and Grandad got up very early before sunrise at 6 a.m. Douglas grabbed his backpack and packed the talking potion together with his binoculars. He also made sure that Grandad's mobile phone was fully charged. When they arrived in the forest, they saw a beautiful barn owl. She was collecting food for her chicks. Douglas watched her gracefully swooping to find food for her family, and then he watched as she flew back to her nest in the hollow of a tree. Douglas closed his eyes tightly and wished like never before that his idea would work. Please, Mrs. Owl, please help us. Douglas outstretched his arm to the side of his body. Like pure magic, Mrs. Barn Owl landed gently onto his arm. Grandad and Douglas stood in pure amazement. We want to help you. They are going to cut down the forest to build a huge shopping centre. We have a magic potion that will help you to talk and tell the world how you feel, said Douglas. The barn owl looked wisely at Douglas and nodded her head forwards, agreeing that she would help. Grandad opened the magic potion and sprinkled it over the owl's beak. Within seconds, the barn owl was beginning to talk. I can't quite believe it. This is a miracle, said the barn owl. Grandad and Douglas were in utter astonishment. Grandad began filming this incredible sight. Douglas asked Mrs. Barn Owl what destroying the forest would do to her and the other animals. Well, we will have nowhere to live. If they cut down the forest, my baby chicks will die with no food or shelter. If all the animals have to leave the forest, there will be no food for any of us. We cannot survive in a town like humans do. It is not our natural habitat. Please do not do this. You will destroy your home and it will not end well, said the very wise barn owl. Douglas thanked the barn owl and waved goodbye to her as she went back to her nest. Did you get that? Said Douglas. I sure did, said Grandad with great excitement. Douglas rang 123 News and explained he had some breaking news to share on their lunchtime show. The barn owl story went out to the local area and within minutes it had gone international. Douglas's home phone would not stop ringing for interviews and then Grandad was featured on the evening news. You are a sensation, Mr. Swift. Your magic has saved the forest from destruction, reported Bert Brown. And as for your grandson Douglas, what a very wise little boy and a wonderfully caring young man. Bert Brown reported that a new site had been found a few miles away at an old rundown factory that was no longer in use. The multi-millionaire Benjamin Goodworth had realised that demolishing a beautiful natural forest was not the right thing to do, and that regeneration of an area was a better way forward. Mr. Goodworth even decided to support the Great Forest and put a ban on anyone ever trying to cut down the forest again. Douglas and Grandad jumped for joy. People talked about how Douglas had saved the forest for many, many years. With a little bit of magic, anything is possible. So that's my story about Douglas Saves the Forest. I really hope you enjoyed it today, and I look forward to telling you more stories again soon. Goodbye.